Family meetings thing has been great.
It has been life-changing for our family. Sometimes I don't like what I see, and I'm like, it's coming from me, and it's just required me to do so much work on myself.
The illusion of having feedback or input on it is probably very comforting and appealing.
Evening meetings.
Oh yeah, the family meetings thing has been great.
It has been life-changing for our family.
Why?
One, because you clearly just have like crippling anxiety. Like, I don't know how you've gone through the world this
Why do
way.
you think they matter so much?
Because I think that there are so much, like
Well, you know what? First of all, let's back up. I should get credit for inventing the family meeting idea in our family.
Do you need
It was
credit?
I just think it's been working well, and I deserve credit for instituting it.
You need that validation.
I just need the record to give me the validation.
record
I
to
don't
reflect.
personally need it. I just need the record to show.
Congratulations.
Thank
You've
you.
made positive
As long as we
change
did
in our
that.
household.
All right. Yeah,
Jesus.
finally.
Next up, teaching the kids to put shoes on. Okay, family meetings.
Yes.
I think that there are so many. We do not have any consistency. It's not like every day our kids are going to school at the same time and we're going to different places and whatever. You travel a lot. There's even some of their like caregivers. They're in and out. They're just like, I think that it was causing a lot of stress for the kids when they didn't know what was happening the next day. But also you and I, like, we have so much random shit going on that it would be like we were living and dying with, oh, our rule was if it's not in the calendar and we didn't talk about it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like if there's something in the calendar but we didn't discuss it, it's like one of us sees and hears that. And so it just doesn't register. And then the calendar, the other one lives and dies by the calendar. There's so much variability in our day to day. And it was obvious that with our youngest, where he was confused all the time, and then it was causing stress because he didn't know. And so when we started doing this thing, and it sounds really interesting because when you're traveling or when one of us isn't home, it doesn't matter. We still do it with everybody. Like everyone is still involved. Like we call in the other parent or
We've done that.
yeah. Okay, we've been doing this for like 2 weeks,
Yeah,
so it's not
yeah.
like we've had a lot of other things. But yes,
longer
remember
than
I
2
was in the
weeks.
car once, and like Jones and I were in the
Yeah.
car, and you guys were home, and he was gonna fall asleep, and I was like,
Yeah.
we have to have this family, and we just sometimes I think you're like week ahead. Like this is not a week ahead meeting. We literally just talk about
What are we
what the
doing in the
next
morning?
what the next day is. Who's going to be the parent who's with you when you wake up? Are you going to be the one that's handling the morning? Am I going to be the one that's handling the morning? So they're like aware of that. Who's going to school? Who isn't going to school? What the day is going to look like? And if there's time in there where we're not sure, if there's like going to be an unknown variable, like we try to prepare them for that. And then we have time after to air complaints and grievances.
You know what I think a big part of it is, though, actually? Is the meeting is great. All that reasons, like making the next morning better. But I think it's like from our routine, you know, it's like you give your kids a bath or whatever, you do all this stuff, then it's like starting to wind down the day. So then you send them, like in our house, we go upstairs, we watch like a couple minutes of like a movie or a TV show
Yeah.
or whatever. And then we would be like, okay, go downstairs and brush your teeth and go to bed. So like they don't want to go to bed, right? So if you're like send downstairs, then they're just like dispersed through the house trying to like get into
Right.
trying to not
Yeah.
do the thing we want them to do. So having like an extra transitionary activity where it's like we're upstairs on the couch watching TV, and then we're like, okay, this is over. Like it is now officially time to go to bed, but we have to like assemble downstairs and sit in and we kind of all sit in the same spot.
Right.
So then, even though the meeting is sometimes
30 seconds.
3 minutes, yeah. It's a transition between, and then it's easy to go like, okay, let's see who can like brush our teeth fastest or like, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
right? I think it actually a big part of the impact is just its transitionary nature inside a transition.
Okay, so first, the reason that we added that was to have cool down time because we were trying to do like big body movements before bed, especially because they need to get like that last bit of energy out, and then they seem to be falling asleep better. And then we kind of forgot that we were doing that. But anyways, since you said that, maybe we need to institute some sort of gathering in the morning to help the transition to get out of the house.
That's a good idea. Like everyone sits around the table and go, just a reminder, here's what we're doing. Does anyone have thoughts?
Or
concerns,
like,
quests?
what are we happy with what we're wearing today with the weather, and just bake it. I think because of the way that you think and you schedule your day and your time, that might be a good thing for you because
Yeah.
the kids just want to be chaotic. I think if you had a Now we're instituting this thing where we all gather around in this circle in our house and review or whatever. I think you'd bake in an extra 5 minutes of tolerance.
Yeah, I like that.
Look at us solving problems.
And then the illusion of having feedback or input on it is probably very comforting and appealing.
Yes, I also feel like maybe you should wake Jones up with a weather report every morning, because he does that at night too. He's like,
he just wants to know how things are going to be, and then finds a way to have an objection to that thing, whatever it is. I think it's no, because it's like to like I had been doing that, like, you know, when you plug your phone into CarPlay, I like when I'm leaving or whatever, I like click over to the calendar and I just see like what the day is for a second, instead of like, oh shit, wait, what? Like, so just a second of getting the review is really helpful. And it's forcing me to do that at night and go, oh, okay. Yeah, I have like 3 things, but it's not like just this kind of, you think about it from a kid's perspective. If as an adult, you're like, shit, tomorrow's like packed, isn't it? That's stressful. But then when you go, okay, so first I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, you're like, oh, that's not so bad. Like it forces you to actually like visualize what the thing is for the day, and then you sort of reduce the generalized anxiety about what that thing is.
I just realized something. Well, one, you just described why you have a to-do list, like literally the principle. Like it feels overwhelming, and then you write it down, and it's like, this seems doable. Okay. So I think that our older child is very much like me, and I think I've been being faced with myself with him since he was born.
Sorry to hear that. It's rough, huh?
I think you are experiencing that with Jones. I think you're like being faced with yourself, and like I think you're just like maybe you haven't really quite realized that. Like I am like constantly like everything that he does, it is like staring in a mirror. And I'm like, sometimes I don't like what I see, and I'm like, it's coming from me, and it's just required me to do so much work on myself, because he is just literally the embodiment of like all of the deep parts of me, but like coming out. And I think you're experiencing that with our other child. Where for me, I'm like, I'm a pro. I've been dealing with you for like 18 years. You finicky little creature who needs things to happen. No problem.
Are the meetings helpful for you though? Because I find it helpful to like actually be like, oh yeah, okay, this is like just to make decisions in advance about who's going to do what. So
we're not like winging it. Yeah,
exactly.
Even like we carpool a lot. If we're carpooling, if we're not carpooling, like, and then if mistakes are made, it's on both of us, because it's obvious that we didn't communicate.
Yeah, it's like, hey, like if we're leaving at the same time, then like our schedules and getting ready, a bunch of shit has to get aligned. So if I'm under the impression that we're not, and you're under the impression that we are, or vice versa, then there's an opportunity for conflict. It's like, no, we're taking separate cars, or we're not. Then it makes it clear what has to happen and who has to do what. So I do think I wonder, even if it doesn't benefit the kids at all, I think it benefits us to have.
No, it 100% does. I think that the like resistance that we experience, not resistance, but just general anxiety with like, especially our youngest, is like way lower, because it is the same for you. This is my thought. We are thinking of like macro things like scheduling and who's driving and what to expect with drop off and like whatever. Everything's going much more smoothly. But I'm wondering if we should try to do it with like littler things too. Like that's the opportunity right there. They don't tell time, so we could just move this to whatever time we need to. I think if we spent a little more time then discussing the weather and the clothing options and like our expectations for the morning, like just break it down a little bit more, because one of our children pretends like he doesn't care about routine, but when it doesn't exist, his whole world falls apart. And then the other one is like obsessive about the routine. So like, I think if they had that, let's try that. Let's try to like break it down a little bit more.
Yes, I think so. Jones gets like angry if I'm the one that wakes him up in the morning instead of you.
About it if he knows.
But because we talk about it. Yeah, like the first time when it was like, oh, okay, fine. I guess I consented to this the night before.
And this morning, I went in there anyway.
You blew up the routine. That wasn't...
Well, you lollygag, because you guys have your own things. But I went in there anyway, and
it took like 14 seconds.
And
actually, you're lucky I didn't lock you out of the bedroom. Because...
You didn't know I wasn't asleep. Okay, whatever.
I left. I turned off the baby monitor. I thought you were still in there. So I was going to lock the door behind me to keep them from bursting in on you.
Is that the type of like attention that you pay to our children when you're hanging out with them? You didn't even know I wasn't in the room.
Well, it's dark, and as soon as you're under the
Wait,
covers,
can I
I
finish
thought
what
I
I
was
was
being
saying?
nice.
I went in there this morning and I like laid down with him, and he just like turned over kind of shocked. And he's like, "Are you not tired?" And I was like, "No, I'm exhausted." Because like I think I would normally like work on my phone from after you go to bed until like 12 or 1. That's when I do like majority of my email.
Let's define our terms here. Work?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Work or reels or texting or books?
No. Sometimes I read, but most of the time I'm responding to emails or like trying to figure out things for projects that we're working on in our house.
Sometimes
Or
buying packages.
how do you
don't
think that I
remember?
get things done when I literally never put my butt in a chair in front of a computer? Like, when do you think that I'm managing things?
You're acting like I'm being so ridiculous when you're not like,
I'm gonna.
oh, I
kill
forgot
you.
I bought all this stuff at 2 a.m.
And it was all great things that was totally necessary. Anyways, he goes, our child, when I broke routine and I went into his room in the morning, goes,
He
like,
gave
"What are
you
you
a
doing
yellow
here?
card.
Are you still tired?" And I was like, "Yeah, or he goes, "You're not tired?" And I was like, "No, I'm still very tired. Like, I slept like 4 hours." And he goes, "Do you need to go back to bed?" And I was like, "Probably." And he's like, "Okay, I'll just cuddle with you for a second." And then he brought me into
Aw.
our room and like put me back in bed. It was so sweet. So like that's what it takes. He needs that. I'm so annoyed with you right now.
What? I know you sometimes work late, but I know you also
You're
are just reading.
asleep.
This, if anyone follows
Look,
you on
I'm
Goodreads
sorry.
and wonders
Excuse me.
where all these
Excuse me.
books are being read, it's
Does-
between the hours of 11 and 1 a.m. What are you talking about?
Does reading not count as work, Ryan?
I was just defining the term work so people didn't think you're, doing
What?
TPS reports at 1 in the
I
morning.
don't even know what a TPS report
It's a joke
is.
from Office Space. It's not.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's like office busy work. That's what
Mm.
a TPS report is. You're not like doing our taxes.
Sometimes. Literally last night I was
Were you?
categorizing expenses. Like what?
So
Honestly,
you were doing it.
when do you? Jesus Christ. I would just like it to be on record that you and I have worked together for 12 years at this. No, longer. 13 years at this point.
It's longer than that, but
I mean, yeah, this relationship always has been work. So it has been longer than that. You can't hit the table when you're recording a podcast.
as you play with
Okay, can we wrap this one up?